Albert Einstein once said that compound interest was the eighth wonder of the world. But did he really say that? Well, it doesn't really matter because compound interest really is a wonder. It's a magical thing. Hello everyone, my name is Zach and welcome to On Cashflow, where I help you become a master of your own cash flow. Now let's get started. This video is sort of a part 2 to a video that I made in the well-distant past. I almost said future, where I made a video called 3 Things That You Need for Coast.F.I.R.E. And I highly suggest you watch that video, at least after watching this video, if not before. Because in this video, I have 3 more things that you need in order to reach coasting financial independence. And the very first one that I want to share with you today is that you need to have a more volatile asset allocation. Now, what does this mean? If you're coasting your way to financial independence, that means that you are going to rely mostly on your investments to compound on themselves until you reach a regular retirement age. And that means that you have a very long time horizon. Since you have a very long time horizon, you should be more willing to invest more aggressively. Now, what does actually investing aggressively mean? Well, in this context, it just simply means investing more of your allocation in stocks versus into bonds. Because stocks, they are more volatile, but they have a much higher potential to have higher returns in a long time period. For example, if you're trying to achieve Coast.F.I.R.E., it's probably going to be much better for you to have an 80-20 portfolio versus a 60-40 portfolio. This meaning 80% stocks and 20% bonds rather than 60% stocks and 40% bonds. So a 60-40 split would be considered a much more conservative approach than an 80-20 split. And if you're on the path to coasting financial independence, you're probably going to be able to generate a lot more wealth by the time you reach that regular retirement age with an 80-20 portfolio than a 60-40 portfolio. Of course, it's not guaranteed. It's just that based on historical data and based on the nature of stocks versus bonds, it's much more likely that you would. Now, why would this be? Well, that's because stocks, they have more potential for growth than bonds do. Being an owner of a company has more potential for growth than being a lender to a company or to a government. Lenders do not generally get as rich as owners do, but lenders take on a lot less risk because they get paid first. Of course, one thing that needs to be said here is that you should never invest too aggressively to where you cannot, sleep at night, to where you are uncomfortable with the amount of volatility in your portfolio. Even if you have a long time horizon, if your portfolio is so volatile that is making you uncomfortable, then it is not a good portfolio for you. You need to have one that is as aggressive as you can without negatively affecting your mental state. Because one big mistake that you never want to have to make is to panic sell. And if you have, let's say, 100% of your allocation in stocks, even if you have a 30 or 40 year time horizon, if you cannot handle the volatility that comes with that and you end up panic selling, it is going to devastate your long-term returns. So please, even though you should probably have a more aggressive portfolio if you're on the way to Coast.F.I.R.E., if it's too aggressive for your risk tolerance and you end up panic selling, that is way worse than having a more conservative portfolio. My next most important tip for coasting your way to financial independence is to choose tax-free accounts over tax-deferred accounts in most circumstances. But before I move on to that one, I just want to say really quick that I put a lot of time and research into these videos, and it would really help me out if you quickly hit the like button on this video. So if you're enjoying this video, please hit that like button. It really does help me out, and I would really appreciate that. Okay, but getting on to the tax-free versus tax-deferred. In some circumstances, it's better to defer taxes, and in others, it's better to pay the tax now so that you don't have to pay tax in the future. However, I would say that when it comes to coasting financial independence, it's actually better for you to choose tax-free in a lot of circumstances. And what I mean by tax-free is a Roth account. Having a Roth account is more beneficial if you're on your way to coasting financial independence because a lot of your investments are going to grow significantly over the amount of years that you're waiting until you reach regular retirement age. And it's much better to have a large portfolio in a Roth account than it would be into a traditional account because there are going to be no taxes once you take out money from that Roth account. So here's a little quick scenario to help illustrate this. So let's say that you are Coast.F.I.R.E. with $100,000 at age 32. And then you don't plan on taking withdrawals from your retirement until you reach your full retirement age, which is 67. And so that is another 35 years. And over that time, your portfolio grows at an average annual rate of 8%. So with that, you would have nearly $1.5 million by the time you reach age 67, plus whatever your regular Social Security income is. So you can take asset withdrawals from your $1.5 million, plus you'll have your Social Security income once you reach age 67. Given that you started with $100,000 and your money grew to $1.5 million in 32 years, you would definitely want that money to be in a tax-free account, aka into a Roth account. That's because when you go to withdraw money and make your asset withdrawals from that $1.5 million, they are going to be tax-free withdrawals. So you're not going to pay any income tax on the amount that you're withdrawing. Versus if you had a traditional account and you were putting that same $100,000 that was in a traditional account and it grew to $1.5 million, every time you withdraw money, you make asset withdrawals from that account, you are going to pay income taxes on whatever that amount that you withdraw is. That is why you would want that $1.5 million to be in a Roth account, such as a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k. It's not going to be taxable income when you take disbursements from the account in your regular retirement age. There aren't going to be any required minimum distributions no matter what age you are. And while you're on the path to coasting financial independence, a Roth account can kind of be an emergency fund if you really, really need it, because the amount of contributions that you made to the account can be withdrawn tax and penalty free. As long as you do not take from the earnings in the account before age 59.5, then your Roth contributions can be taken tax and penalty free. Now I have one more really good one for Coast-Fi, but before we move on to that, I have a good question for you. I want to know from you in the comments below. Have you reached Coast-Fi with your current amount of investments? What do you think about Coast-Fi in general? Do you think that it's a good plan for people to reach retirement by using this kind of strategy? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear what you have to say. Now, the third and best tip I have for you when it comes to reaching Coast-Fi is to actually take advantage once you reach that number. Once you are Coast-Fi, utilize that flexibility that you now have. You can say, hey, okay, I have reached Coast-Fi. I now have enough money to where if I didn't really do anything else, if I didn't add very much more to my investment portfolio, it would still grow by the time I reach retirement age to a very decent amount to where I could retire comfortably. So once you've reached that, if that was your goal, then take advantage of it. What I mean by take advantage of this is now you have so much more flexibility in choosing how to earn your income. So take this scenario, for example. Let's say on the path to Coast-Fi, you made about $80,000 per year take-home pay, and you saved half of that and you spent half of it. So you were saving $40,000 a year and you were spending $40,000 per year. Now you've reached your Coast-Fi number. Now you know that you can retire, at a regular retirement age using just the money that you've already saved up. What this could mean is that you don't necessarily need to save $40,000 per year anymore. Instead, what you could do is you could dial back how much you're saving for your retirement and you could spend a little bit more. Or you can say, hey, well, I've been living off of $40,000 per year. Now I don't necessarily need to work in a career that earns me $80,000 per year. Maybe I could do something that's more fulfilling. Or maybe I could do something that's more fun, more flexible, and it only earns me, let's say, $50,000 per year. But you're already used to living on $40,000 per year. So now you can live on $40,000 per year and save only $10,000. And I say only 10,000, but you know what I mean. And have a much more enjoyable life on your way to regular retirement age because you've already reached that Coast-Fi number. You do have more options if you don't want to stay in your current line of work, if you want to move to something that might be lower paying, or if you want to try out a different career. You have more flexibility now because you've already reached Coast-Fi. You've already set yourself up for regular retirement. And if Coast-Fi sounds like something that really aligns with you and your values, then make sure you check out the previous videos that I made about Coast-Fi and 3 things that you need to do if you want to achieve Coast-Fi. Okay, it's a little bit of an older video, so the quality is not going to be as good as this one, but I still think that you're going to get a lot of value out of it. I'm going to put it right here on the screen, right after I get off the screen. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm Zach from OnCashFlow.com, and I hope to see you next time.